YAHAWASHI BAHASHAM Rakakwadash the water Yahawah cry Barakatha Yahawah for your mercy all the time. Call Yahawah Bashim Yahushua for a power all the time. Call Yahawah Bashim Yahushua. Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Obadiah Yahawah Canaan coming at you this afternoon. Shalaki, I'm a little bit late and getting out with things. But again, better late than never, right? But anyway, this lesson, it's going to be a nice lesson. It's going to be a repost that brings out significant information that I believe is very relevant to the time frame. I did this lesson, I don't know, probably about, I think maybe 2 years ago or so, and at least that much, and maybe a little longer, but not exactly sure how long ago I did it. I think it was 2 years to be precise. I had to look it up to be absolutely sure. But it's talking about MENE TEKEL UPHARSIN, right? And that information is very important in lieu of what we're dealing with today, as far as a lot of things that we would consider to be current events or things that are actually happening in the prophetic timeline that we're operating under at this present time. A lot of times what we don't understand that should be brought to our attention is that the Most High himself, he's very intentional in terms of the way he operates in every capacity. And knowing that that is the case, a lot of the way that we respond to his method of operation, we don't understand the consistency as we do in terms of how we operate. And the reason why I say that is because the Most High himself, he has the luxury and he has the affordability because he controls all things, right? And because he does control all things, his situation is such that if he repeats something or he operates in a repetitive process, it's because he can afford to do that, okay? We, on the other hand, we have to operate under his complete control, all right? That's what's important. I think that a lot of times we don't understand that. We have to operate under Yahawah, Bashim Yahawashi's complete control. He is in control of absolutely everything that's going on at all times, and he doesn't miss a beat. Whereas we get this, I guess what I could say, we get a little lost in terms of being clue solvers, and if we're not solving clues correctly or effectively enough, then we're running into issues where we get abused. One of my cliches the Father gave me is, if you don't solve the clues, you're doomed to get abused, which is pretty true. But the MENE TEKEL UPHARSIN, meaning numbered, weighed in the balance, and found wanting. Now, I wrote down pretty good information in my description, and I'm gonna read a little bit of that to you, and then I'm gonna continue a little bit of commentary. And then once I get through this, I'm gonna post the repost, the lesson that I did. And it's very timely, as I said before. Now, taking consideration about what, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I had to do some correction on a few things in reference to my name. I was saying Yehukanan when you don't have no U's or anything like, or U's or E's or V's in the Hebrew, Paleo-Hebrew language. So I had to get that corrected. The Father got me on point with that, and the brethren also tapped in. So those things were done. I have a few things to clear up. I had a nice shirt on at the time, had fringes on it, but you know, my garments are very much in line with what I should be wearing and everything at present. But just a few things to just take in consideration. Let me read some of what let me read the description that I put down back then to show you how the Spirit operates, how the Royal Dish operates and keeps things in line with what we should be doing. I wasn't far off on things that he wrote because the Father's always very good on that. I have here, YAHAWAH, the Heavenly Father, has lifted up his hand against the earth and the inhabitants because they took the vessels of his house, which are the seed of Jacob from Abraham and Isaac, and they abused them. They abused their family members. They traded him for their gods of silver and gold and oil and wood and iron and stone. And now they are being judged worldwide for their iniquity against the Most High Yahawah, and they refuse to understand and accept their recompense at this time. So they now are getting MENE Tekel Upharsin to finish Yahawah's BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI's glory. Okay, so that's the description that I put in the lesson at that particular time, and I think it comes in handy. Now, of course, we're going to read the scripture also in reference to. Pull that up. Let's see here. It's Daniel chapter 5, and we're gonna start. So bear with me. We're gonna start. We can start at the top. You know, I ain't got a problem with that. So we're gonna definitely start at the top, and we're gonna get that. Give me a second here. We're gonna read Daniel chapter 5. We're gonna start at the top. Let me get this off of here first a minute. Bear with me. Okay, all right. All right, okay. Go to Daniel chapter 5, and we're gonna read this part of it. So you're gonna have to bear with me on this one until I get straight. All right, got it. All right. See, the book of Daniel is excellent because it goes into prophetic history that leads and bleeds right into Revelation and Isaiah, Ezekiel, some of the other chapters, Joel, as well as Amos. So you got to know the Bible, like Apostle Ramlam used to always say, and several of the others. You have to eat the whole roll, eat the whole book. Oh, by the way, let me get my shout outs, my shalom. And salutations to all of the brethren in the Akim that are going out highways, byways on the unicorn of information, getting the word out. We give salutations and utmost respect to the apostles who've been bringing this truth out as best as they have been given in the order and line that they have been able to retrieve and reveal what they have for decades in and decades out. So they get definitely admiration and respect for all of the processes that they've been going through and doing, as well as, give respect and admiration and to the elders and the bishops that have been diligently following suit to get things done. So we got all that done. And also salutations to the speckled bird. That's my brother Malcolm always says, that are around the earth, that are in the areas and locations in the nations of the heathens. They may look like the heathen, but they're not the heathen. So we want to get that out. So make sure we have our salutations. Okay, and so getting back to what I was saying, let's go back here to read Daniel chapter 5, and we'll start at the top. Belshazzar, right? That's the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. The king made a great feast to 1,000 of the lords, right? Drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, whilst he tasted the wine, and commanded to bring the golden, right? He said, bring the golden, bring the golden and the silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes and his wives and his concubines might drink therein, right? Then it says, then they brought the golden vessels, right? This was verse 3, that were taken out of the temple of the house of Yahawah, which was at Jerusalem. And the king and his princes and his wives and his concubines drank therein. And they drank wine, and they praised the gods of gold and of silver and of brass and of iron and of wood and of stone. Now, again, see, this is very much in line with what you see happening right now today. And why do I say that? Well, the main reason why I'm saying that is because if you notice that this kingdom in itself, which is controlled, everything's controlled by YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, and it's all predestined in reference to how things are happening. So everything that we're dealing with and going through in terms of experiencing, it's already been set in motion by the Most High Yahweh before the foundation of the world, and it is now just being transitioned through the prophetic process as it goes forward, with the management sequence being held and taken care of by YAHAWASHI and the angels. So nothing that is going on is not being touched by the Most High. So we have to be really extremely careful when we talk about the fact that, Yahweh is not dealing, God, power or the Most High not dealing with somebody. No, he's dealing with everything. He controls everything. So you can't make a statement that says he's not dealing with them unless you break down the specifics in a contrast fashion. As I've always said many times, if we're going to say, in which we do, that the Most High is not dealing with you, what we mean is he's not dealing with that. He's not dealing with you in the capacity that he is with others in reference to bringing forth the accuracy of the truth. Now, I know it's a little bit longer winded to say it, but don't be lazy. Say what you mean, because if you say that that the Most High Power, Yahawah Bashim Yahushai, is not dealing with something, that doesn't match, because then how is he not? He controls everything. So what do you mean? Well, again, that's what we have to be careful in saying. A lot of times we get beside ourselves and we start saying stuff. The Most High has programmed us to do things certain ways, but we can't try to slip corners in terms of who we are talking to or who we're not talking to. Now, again, part of the process of, and I'll just explain this in a little bit of my dialogue, but then I'll get right back to scripture. Part of what we got to understand is, okay, the Holy Spirit will reveal all things to to the selected, elected. Now, a lot of people get to know certain things in terms of what's revealed to them in terms of the awakening. Now, when you talk about this awakening, there's levels of the awakening that are operating in the way that the Most High programmed everything. Meaning what? Some individuals get to wake to the tune and understanding that they're Hebrews. Okay, now that's a thing to awaken. No. And then some get to understand and awake to the point that they are Hebrew Israelites. Okay, now that's another level of the awakening, not just Hebrew, but Hebrew Israelite. Okay, and then some get to be awaking to know what position they hold or are put in reference to being Hebrew Israelites. Like, okay, I might be 2/3, or I might be the 1/3, or you may be of the 144, or the elect, the selected elected. Now, the selected elected of the higher elected would be the 144, but then you have the 1/3 that also are the elect. But see, the Most High may cause the level of the awakening to be at certain sequences. So you may not know what level of the awakening you are. And this also rolls down into contrast for other areas of understanding when it comes to scriptures, when it comes to how you understand what you need to break down in the scripture. Also, whether or not you graduate to the level that you're supposed to graduate to when it comes to your study to show thyself approved. You see what I mean? So if that is the case, okay, let's just say that's what the situation is for you. If you started out, I don't know, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, much older, just like if you were to go and study under, as Paul did under Gamaliel, right, to learn the law. Now, when Paul first started out in studying the law when he was younger, he wasn't a Pharisee right away to the level that he was, and he wasn't a doctor of the law, so to speak, use that word loosely, until he got to a certain level of understanding and study. Now, he became an even stronger apostle once he was, his eyes were opened, because he was predetermined to do this when Yahawashi knocked him off the horse going to Damascus. And then, of course, now he graduates to the level of an apostle. So if you've been doing this for a while, if Yahawashi has been grooming you, training you, and getting you in position so that you can do this, and you have been doing this for some time, you should be the purification process, the cleansing and purification, the cleansing of your mind, the purification of your knowledge and ability to move up in spiritual mature education in the scriptures and the word. You should be graduating, okay, towards your regeneration. Okay, but you should be graduating. You should be moving up. The way I would teach and was brought into the format of teaching took a process of time. First, you had to go through a long period of time of series of studying with the Raw HaKodesh on you to get you in position to understand what it is you're studying. And as you grow in that study and retain things and then go back and study more and research and do the things, you get to the point where then at some point the Most High Yahawashi will say, okay, now I'm ready to release you to start doing some form of teaching or offering the truth to the level that he expects you to do it. And then there you are. But you're graduating to the different stages, just like if you were in school. You start out here and you go, kindergarten, whatever, grade school, all the way up to high school to college to, maybe you're going to be a professor or whatever. I'm just using it as a graduating scale. Which it's very much similar because the Most High controls all things, including all knowledge that comes from him. So if you're repetitively just doing and preaching and teaching only the same thing in a cycle, in a circle, he has you in that condition and in that position. Not saying there's anything wrong with that part of it, because that's what he's doing with individuals. Certain individuals get to a certain stage and that's where they are. Now, at some point, it also becomes a situation where you can graduate to the level of becoming the next level. Like, for instance, it even says in the scriptures that he gave evangelists and he gave teachers, preachers, evangelists. I can't name them all by head, just paraphrasing. So there's different levels of what you can become, bishops and what have you. But you graduate to those levels through the cleansing and purification of the process, and then you should move up. Now, if you're not spiritually graduating or moving, then what's going on with your development? Why is the Most High keeping you at a certain phase and stage? What is that? Okay, and then you have to look at that. So this MENE TEKEL UPHARSIN is very broad in its explanation, and it's going to touch a lot of areas, not just the downfall of this particular wicked kingdom, but also individuals who have also been put in a position where with meanings, you've been numbered and your kingdom is finished. So we're going to talk about breaking down the process of it in reference to, someone being a kingdom being numbered as well as a person can be numbered, right? And we're going to talk about tinkle, which says here, you have been weighed in the balances and found wanting. And so, we're going to break that down too as well. We're going to talk to that as well. And then we're also, kingdom is divided and given to the Medes, the Russians, and the Persians, the Iranians, right? Okay, so we're going to get deep into that, but let me finish what I'm saying here. You should be graduating spiritually in a mature way to be able to move to the next levels that YAHAWASHI will move you through the Ruach HaKodesh, that whoever the elders are that you're under should be in a position to decide who is ready to move at the next level. But you have to show the signs of this by you progressively solving the clues and moving in a fashion that provides them with the ability to see that you are capable of now being one who can give up the type of information that is in a position that is balanced and that shows contrast in terms of where you are in terms of delivering the truth that you've been that's been revealed to you and that you've been awakened to. So if you have these horse blinders on and you're categorizing everything in the way that you do a lesson or you teach, then there's no contrast in terms of where the foundational aspects of that lesson derive from. Now, we can say, well, we're only talking to the elect or the selected elect in terms of who we're trying to reach. But see, the thing is, you don't get to make that determination. YAHAWASHI determines who is the selected elect, because we don't know who they are in complicity, and we don't know who they are in absolution. We don't know that. What we can do is speculate and have hopeful understanding of who the elect are, or the selected elected, the 144, the 1/3, and what have you. 2/3 and certain other aspects can be shown through various levels of observation and activity. True, but you still don't get to make a call that you're only going to try to say, you're not this or you're not that. We don't have that power, okay? No one is given that power. That is something that is going to be derived by YAHAWASHI. Because I remember one time not too long ago, I was listening to it was a lesson that one of the brothers did, and he was talking about a young man that had gotten shot up, surely like a street gangster brother dude, and he was in the hospital, and he was like, possibly getting ready to do a transition to the spirit world, and this particular nurse was holding his hand, and he was rebellious because she was, possibly an Edomite, could have been a Jake, we don't know, but he's perceived her to be an Edomite, and he was having an experience in and out of consciousness or whatever with an angel that was inferring to him that he was going to be all right and that he was going to be in somewhat of a better position. I don't want to, just kind of roughly paraphrasing the story, and he had said that he mentioned that there was angels that he could he had vision of, or he had visual experience of, and they were Jakes, okay, or it was at least one of them that was a Jake, right? And well, they all couldn't be Jake, of course, but schlocky. What I'm saying is, now this dude was tatted up, got tattoos all over his body. He's clearly all broken the laws in Deuteronomy 19 and everything else in between, and he was a nigga. Okay, and he clearly was in that capacity in terms of his presentation of who he was. But you know what? How many of us, as I had said before, have actually had a visitation from YAHAWASHI, one of the Jake angels with the afro and the beard, personally? I'm not talking about in a group setting in a camp organization, because we know that happens. Or just a lot of times with the men of GMS when they're on the street and what have you. I don't hear about it on any other camps, but I'm saying in general, I'm talking about your personal, visitation by a angel from YAHAWASHI with the afro and the beard and the whole setup and everything to come and deal with you directly. That is very unique to any of us at all in any capacity. And so that could be a sign, or at least a marker, that that man that looked like that level of a street nigga might have been the elect. I'm not saying he is or he isn't. I just don't know. I'm just saying, but in terms of who the Father would actually send through YAHAWASHI, one of his angels, directly to this dude and have him actually have a engagement going on at some point. I mean, think about that. That's why I'm saying you can't say who's who in terms of this, because you really don't know. You have a very small margin of being able to say who is what and how they are, but you have to be very careful in the way that you present what you think an individual is. And it doesn't matter who you are that's saying it, because all of us are as filthy rags in this flesh. We are pieces of shit in this flesh to the Most High Yahweh himself. We only have the grace that he looks at us through the lens of Yahawashi, who actually was predetermined, as everything is, and sent to use the process of reconciliation back to the covenant through his son, which we are the only ones that get that. We are of the ministry of reconciliation. Nobody else is. Okay, that's our role. The rest of the nations, they're not part of the ministry of reconciliation. So, knowing this is the case, you got to be real careful not to come out your face and say who's going to be what. We don't deserve or reserve that honor, because we can't actually determine a person's we can't determine their outcome. We can't do that. So be real mindful and respectful to YAHAWASHI by staying humble in that capacity, because he's dealing with all his creation. There is no creation that YAHAWASHI is not touching at all times. There is none that he ain't touching. He controls everything. When we say he's not dealing with someone, we're meaning that in the capacity of a certain level of understanding and revealment in terms of how they could be or not be awake, he may not have revealed that to them as of yet, or they may not be scheduled to get the revealing. But it is YAHAWAH BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI's prerogative and control that this happens. All right? Stay away from saying who ain't dealing with who, because unless you're going, and don't blindly categorize it, unless you're going to put contrast in, because you don't know who's listening to all of this on the unicorn of information and on World Wide Web, however you want to call it. There's a lot of people listening at all times. And so the elect, selected, elected, the very elected, they may also likely to be listening. And if they catch that information, that could be sort of a stumbling block, if the Father wants that to be a stumbling block through them in terms of his prophetic timeline. But you got to be real careful in terms of what kind of stuff you say like that, because this is the ministry of reconciliation. We are to be reconciled back to the covenant. That's what Yahawashi he did it, getting us back into covenant with Most High Yahweh. Okay, and the process is living and it's moving. So we got to be real careful in terms of how we interpret that, because if not, we're going to end up getting numbered. We're going to end up finding out that we've been weighed in the balances and found wanting, and in turn divided, which is what we see happening right now at present. We have a lot of this going on. The Most High, when he went forth to start separating certain individuals that would be doing work within this awakening that he's in complete control of, from all facets and all capacities, he's in complete control of it. There's nowhere where he's not touching or dealing with them or anybody. So, and he's numbered who he's controlling and dealing with. Now, because you see that that's the case, because when everything was coming out of the One West area when there used to be the first levels of schooling before Alba Bivens, after Alba Bivens, you had the International School of what was it? I can't remember. International School of right, yeah. It was ISUPK something. Yeah, the International School of Knowledge and whatever. Okay, I can't remember all of it. Sorry, but practical knowledge. International School of Practical Knowledge and the Hebrew Israelites was coming out in that format, and during that time, that International School of Practical Knowledge, Hebrew Israelite International School of Practical Knowledge, it was together, but the Father numbered it, and then he said, I'm gonna break it up. And when he broke it up, then now you have GMS, and you have IUIC, and then you have HOI, and then you have ISUPK, and all these different divisions, but they were numbered. And once they got numbered, the Most High, he broke them up. He weighed in the balances of what was going on. And then the wanting was found in some of the other camps and organizations. If you think about it, who's running around still using the sacred, who's running around using the sacred name and who's not? Who's running around now and they're saying, using the Greek interpretations of and translations and transliterations of who they think YAHAWASHI is? Who's doing that? Okay? Who's running around dealing with monetary aspects of the scriptures and monetary aspects of building their organization through gold, oil, and drugs, and who's doing this stuff? Who's out there trying to be rappers? Who's out there trying to be militant with weapons? Who's doing all this? So you can see where the weight and the balances are being done and corrected, and who's coming up wanting and who's not. And clearly we can see that there is a divide at this point. And the Father is doing all this. He's dividing this. He's sending individuals into Ezekiel 20, where he is going to show that at that time the rebels are going to be set in the right order. That they get taken to the wilderness, and we're in this wilderness as it is, but they get taken to that particular point, and we don't know when, but we can see who's set up as rebels and who's not. It's very evident in that. Okay, I'm getting really off on where I want to go. Oh, Shalaki. Oh, man. You see? You know I'm getting out of there. Let me get this correct. Sorry, bear with me for a minute. That back up. Okay, here we go. All right. We got it. We got it. So as I was saying, we got to be careful of who we say is going to be dealt with and what manner they'll be dealt with. We got to be real careful about all that, because if we don't, then we're going to be in jeopardy of tasting what the Most High going to have us taste, and a lot of us ain't going to want to taste that cup because it's going to be tough. Let me go back. All right, I'm on 4. All right, so this is Daniel chapter 5, right? And I'm at verse 4.